Whenever you finish a record and you go on the road, you think, am I ever going to be able to come up with another set of tunes to do this? I mean, am I ever going to write a good song again? I think every artist feels that way because you work really hard on a project for over a period of time and really put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And when it's done, you're like, wow. It's not unlike asking a woman right after she's given birth to a child, do you think you're going to have any more kids? She's going to go, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm probably not, you know. Yeah. And 2 years later, she might, you know. So I felt like I gave birth to this record with a lot of my heart and soul and blood and tears. And it was me and my co-writing partner and co-producer, C.J. Vanston. We worked really hard along with the wonderful people that worked on the record with us and co-wrote and played. Friends, family, and all that good stuff, and I'm very honored to be back out here showing this to you and getting ready for another amazing year, because this year's been amazing. Geez, you know what I do when I go, man? I travel so much. Most people travel for a vacation. They go, they work and they go, I get to go travel for my vacation. I go home, man. You know, I go home and I spend time with my family. My older kids come over. My younger kids, I get up in the morning and take them to school and hang out with them, go to the park, simple things. You know, I see, you know, go out for dinner. I'm a simple man now. I don't really go out much. I live in Hollywood and up in the hills and stuff, but I don't ever go out to the club and stuff unless somebody I know is playing and I want to go see some friends. Generally, I stay to myself. I sit on the couch, put on a fire, and watch TV. Go out for dinner with a couple of buds, go to bed early, go up and work out in the morning, smell the roses, as they say. I don't really do much. I'm a simple life, you know. Diet, exercise, rest, meditation, eating right is really important. Drinking a lot of water, and just taking care of myself, man. And that recharges the batteries. It erases time. It sounds so simple, but really it is that simple.
It's the harder thing. And living a life, having a life of your own.
Also, you know, you got to let go of resentments and past things, you know, anger, or hatred, or, you know, people that have wronged you. Everybody gets shit on, man. You know, everybody gets beat up emotionally. It has nothing to do with what you do for a job. I mean, some people, you just wake up and you go, I've had a really terrible day. My feelings were hurt, or I lost a friend, or my relationship's messed up, or, you know, my kid's sick, or whatever. I mean, these are everybody's problems. And you know, when things are going well and you wake up in the morning and it's a blue sky and you get out to get in the fresh air and you look around and go, I have a great job. Everything's cool. I'm one of the lucky ones. I really want to thank God for all this and thank everybody that's helped me along the way. And really not take it for granted and appreciate it. I think, like I said, I appreciate it more now than I ever did as an older man still being in the game. Right now, I mean, it's Toto's 35th anniversary next year. 36 if you want to count when we start the album, but 35 sounds better. They're putting together this like tree of all the artists that we've worked with collectively. Now, between us all, including some of the guys like that have come and gone, like Lee Sklar and Greg Fillinganes, and along with the guys that are the core band now, the last count was 8,000 records of every major star from the last 50 years in every style of music aside from classical. So, I mean, and they're putting up little bubbles like with the paces, and the connection is there more than one of us on this artist, or what do we do with this? I didn't even realize it, you know, like the new manager, our new managers have put this together as sort of a flashpoint for the hype of the next tour of what our accomplishments have been over the last 35 plus years. And I'm kind of scared. I start laughing going, this is ridiculous. It's silly. But we've done a lot of stuff, and I don't really think about it much until it gets brought up. But we've had our hands in a lot of what's happened in popular music in the last several decades. It's a great honor to have a legacy like that. I can't think of any other band that does have that, you know. The whole session guy thing, and it's just not what it once was. I mean, people share files, they have studios in their house. That human contact is not unlike what's going on when you go out to dinner with somebody. They're not talking to you, they're texting on the phone, kind of going, yeah, right. Yeah, right. What'd you say? Everyone's multitasking all the time. You have virtual friends. You have how many Facebook friends? I mean, do you really have 5,000 friends? I mean, I don't. Like, you used to just sit and read a book and in the quiet. Used to listen to a record and close your eyes. There was never, cell phones and ringtones and all this crap going off all the time. It's a different world. Now, I suppose, my almost 2-year-old son knows how to work an iPhone, but he's just learning how to talk. The icons make sense to him. You don't have to read directions to make it work. So it's bizarre that my 5-year-old can't read yet, but she can manipulate her mother's iPhone and get to her games and all this stuff by going all this stuff. It just makes sense to them. To me, it was the weirdest thing in the world to get used to this stuff. So I guess, like I said, hey, I'm an older guy now. I have to admit that. I mean, you can't turn back time, but, I look at life from the experience of not having any of this connection to there being cameras everywhere and everything's being watched and read and texted and your Facebook page. Yeah, everybody's reading it. Big Brother's watching down the street. There's cameras everywhere. I mean, when did that happen? Was there a day that they said they're going to start this? No, it happened very slowly. And now that it's happened, you can't take it away. So we're living in this Orwellian world now. George wrote that for 1984, but really it was just a couple decades late. But here we are in it. Yeah. And so you have to learn to adjust and realize that everything you say and do is forever. 200 years' time, somebody could punch up my name and this interview could be brought up. I'll be long dead and gone.
Yeah.
But
I hope so.
It's kind of scary because I've done some pretty fucked up things in my life that I really wish I could erase, but it's there forever. So, Just because you read it on the internet doesn't mean it's true about anything, anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that in the last political election in America. It was like the hate and the lies and the sound bites taken out of context. And it's just, man, what is the truth? Is there a truth channel I can go to? So where somebody will tell me unbiased, these are the facts. You make your own opinion after that. It used to be like that. The news was like that. But now the news, everybody has a wink on, no, but really our guy's the better guy. And the other guy sucks, and that's not news. That's tabloid stuff, I was bullied when I was a kid, and it was tough for me when I was really young. I was a really skinny, small little guy that was terrible at sports, and they made fun of me and threw the ball at my head, and, I'd get stuck at the back of the bus, and everybody would be laughing at me. And I was a terribly insecure child. Yeah. And I channeled that into the music thing. Once I started playing, I had this outlet, and then they saw me play, and that got me out of being messed with every day. Then they said, oh, he's okay. He's a musician. That's kind of cool, because there weren't very many young musicians at that time in the early, mid-'60s, But, these days, kids are so cruel. I mean, kids are always cruel anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 2 adult kids that I went through all that junk with them, but they were kind of cool kids, but they didn't get beat up too much. But I saw what was going on around them, the pressure, all this, especially girls. They go through. They're so nasty sometimes. But man, let's bring back, as my boss says, man, bring back that peace and love. You know what I mean? The last thing I listened to was my son just sent me a song he wrote with CJ, and it's a great song. He got a publishing deal, so he's writing songs for other artists. So I mean, it's a trip for me to see my son, coming out as a really excellent musician, songwriter, and singer and stuff. I was sitting in my room laughing today. I went, wow, that's really cool. That's my son, man. How about that? It's pretty cool. Bringing the family into the business and all that. But he's his own man. But, I listen to all kinds of eclectic stuff. I was talking to somebody today. I was listening to an old Genesis record, Selling Them by the Pound, one of my favorite childhood records. I listen to some things that remind me. You want to go back and reminisce about the times when records were made that way. And those songs bring me back to when I was 15 years old. And there's a little bit of joy there. Sometimes you want to just kick back and remember the good old days when life was a little simpler. On the other hand, I try to keep up with a little bit of what's happening. Now, I get sent a lot of music. It's really hard for me. People listen to my band, listen to my, you want to do that, and sometimes I just don't, I want to watch cartoons. I don't want to hear music at all. Well, I mean, there was some song, the title track, Transition, there's totally that 70s prog.
Yeah,
melodic prog rock influence in there. Genesis, yes, where they'd have these different sections that would start out really, emotive, and then it would get really intense, almost,
Yeah.
fusion-y, and then we get very beautiful melodic Pink Floyd floating kind of thing. And I grew up with this stuff. I mean, it's in my DNA, and there's not a lot of people making records like this anymore. So, without stealing anything, I'm influenced by like why can't we make records that it gets real soft and then it gets loud? So everything's just loud all the time. Life is just loud all the time. Everything is bigger and more. And I like big productions. I like all this stuff, but I also like you got to have darkness with light. You can't just have the bright light on all the time.